Hey y'all, it's everyone's favorite middle school math teacher, Mr. Grizzly. That's me. And we're going to actually do an episode of Driving with Mr. Grizzly. It's been a while. So, I want to talk today about moving. Why do I want to talk about that? Good question. Good question. You get an A. But the reason why I want to talk about that is because I'm moving. Today, my daughter and I are officially moving to another state. So, as you know, I live in South Carolina. Yeah, I haven't checked. But we're moving to another. We're moving from South Carolina to North Carolina, and I know some of you, that's not bad, but we're moving into the western part of North Carolina. When I say western part, I mean western part, not like Asheville or you know whatever y'all think of when y'all think of western. I'm talking all the way out there to Cherokee County in North Carolina. So now, number one, I'm excited. I love the mountains. I've always liked Western North Carolina. Now, I'll admit I've never been this far before. The furthest west I've ever been when it comes to Western North Carolina was Bryson City. That's because I took my children on that train ride that they got out there, which was fun. But this is the farthest I've been. This ain't my first time going there. I've been scouting places to rent and all. So it's not like I just picked a spot on the map and said, all right, this is where we're going. So there's a reason behind it. I'm trying to make sure my daughter's staying with me. She's behind me. But so I love the fact that I'm going to get to live in Western North Carolina, and live in the mountains. And like I said, that's something I've always enjoyed visiting. I'm more of a mountain person than a beach person. So that's just how I am. Of course, you can probably tell. Anyway. So yes, I'm excited. I really am. But I will also have to say that I am extremely nervous about this. Because, and there's a lot of reasons behind that. Because the place I am moving from, I have lived there practically my whole life. And yes, I mean my whole life. My parents, we moved there when I was like 4. Sorry, picking my nose. 4 years old, and then I have moved out before. I have lived in North Carolina before, up in Lenore. But then something happened with the job that I had. I was teaching, and I couldn't pay the rent. So I talked to the landlord, and he said, okay, if you can afford one more month rent, I'll consider it done. I said, okay. So I paid rent, and I moved back. That's one thing about my mom. She will always let you come back to her house. And I feel like that's really any parent. I know some parents out there like can't come back, or some say if you do, you're gonna pay rent. My mom's not like that, and I'm not like that. I've always told my children, if you ever need a place, come back home. So I stayed there, and I helped my mom out as she got older. And my children were in the school system, so I didn't really want to get them out there because they were far in the school system. So that's where I stayed. So I've been there ever since, I was like 4, off and on. I moved to other places here and there, but this land is also in mine and her name, so I do own the land with her. So that's good, and I'm gonna give it, to my son. But this is all I've known. It's all I've known. I'm used to the routine, and if anything, we humans, we are creatures of habit. We love routine. We hate it when our routine gets a little wonky. And my routine got more than wonky. It's going to get thrown out the door. I got to set up a new one and all that. So yeah, it's. I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous about this. It's scary, but I know we can manage. Now I'm worried about my daughter because this is all she's known. So, and I'm going to miss the family members that are going to stay behind. You know, my son, he lives with his mom. My other son, I'll take this part out. Yeah, I forgot. Don't mention name. So, I am going to miss my two sons so much because they're going to stay with their mom. And I'm going to miss their mom too because even though, we're not married and together anymore, she's still my best friend. And I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss my mom. But for right now, she's got my oldest daughter to stay with her and help her out and all that. But then my oldest daughter, coming up in a couple of months, and she's going to move all the way to Pennsylvania. So, and I tell you, that breaks my heart. I know I'm moving, and I'm happy that she's moving, and I'm proud of her. But at the same time, that's just so far away. But she's got to do it. I hate to sound cliche, but she's got to spread her wings. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt a little bit. Dang it. Why do I gotta get emotional? Oh, me. Alright, well, anyway. Sorry for the crying. Anyway, so, there's that. And some of you might be wondering why I'm moving. Some of you might already know because usually when people make a big move like this, it's one reason mainly. Why? A job. So yeah, I got a job, a teaching job up in Western North Carolina. I'm not going to say specifically where. I think some of my future students have found my YouTube, so you know where. And if you want to put where in the comments, you can. I'm not going to say anything. So, but, yeah. And, that's why. And I'm going to tell you, though, it was hard finding a place. See, this part of North Carolina is very rural. And I butchered that word. Sorry, my southern just does that. But it's extremely rural. And it was hard. Now, I also was looking on the wrong website. I thought, okay, I need a place to rent. I'm going to look on apartments.com because that's what everybody has talked about. Everybody, look on apartments.com, and I did. And yeah, there were a couple good places to rent. It looked good. But nothing that ever really, there's this one place we went to look at. And, hold on, I heard something. Go ahead. There was this one place we went to look at, and their basement, where they keep the washer and dryer, was too much like Evil Dead. Okay? Let's just be honest. I looked into that because you gotta go down some steps. Well, obviously, it's in the basement. And I saw that basement. I'm like, no, it's the Evil Dead basement. No, not gonna do it. So, and it was a decent house. Hold on, I have to blow my nose. Pardon me. I'll cut this part out. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, Evil Dead basement. It's a nice 3-bedroom home. Also, I didn't like the fact that it was like a duplex. So, but the living room was huge. It was wonderful. Went and saw another place. That house was tiny. Look, I'm a big old chunky person. I'm not gonna lie. That bathroom's so small I could not fit between the sink and wall. To do that, I had to go between the sink and wall to get to the toilet and to the shower. Couldn't do it. Nice house, just too small. And then I like, well, all right, I gotta find it somewhere. So nothing good was popping up on there. And then when I done the search, I searched in houses for rent in Western North Carolina. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I had to sing. It was one of my favorite singers. Song came on, Hank Williams Jr. And a country boy can survive. Country folks can survive. It's a good song. Anyway, so as I was saying, so yeah, I was looking for um, places to rent, and when I done the Google search, I know some other websites came up, and I'm like, all right, let's try these out. And I went and looked through them, and the one that, all right, so I looked through them, I think it was Zillow and Realtor.com and some other one, and they weren't really showing much. And then I went on this one called Redfin, I think what it's called, and they was showing a lot more. They had the ones that you saw on Apartment, but they had others. So I went on there and I'm like, all right. So, I'm obviously mapping the distance between these places and my work. And I found, some that were a good distance, 25 to 35 minutes away. So, let's do that. So I found a couple that looked good. So, I called them up and all that. The first one that I looked at on this site was a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. But there's a lot of work that needed to be done on it. The yard looked great. It's like a little, I guess, subdivision, but not a subdivision. And the house, the land looked nice. It's in the it was in the woods. Thank you. Darn, for some reason I couldn't get that out. Nice trees and all that, and shaded. And the house setup was good, but once again, it suffered from a small bathroom. Not as small as the other one. This one I could get in and all, but it's still a little tight fit. And the other bathroom was nice. The rooms were good, but like I said, there's a lot of damage to this house. And I thought, okay, this is going to probably be the best I can get. But then I found another one, and I noticed they had dropped the price. So I'm like, let me call them and see if they're willing to drop it more. And sure enough, they were willing to drop it more. So we looked at that one, and my daughter fell in love with this house. And I gotta admit, too, it was a nice house. It's nice, it's roomy. The bathroom that I'm going to use is nice and roomy. Her bathroom, nice and roomy. Our bedroom. It says 4 bedrooms, but I feel like it's more like 3 bedrooms, because one of the bedrooms is pretty small, so I'll probably just turn that into like a workroom or something. Exercise room, who knows, I do need to be losing weight. But we'll figure something out with that. Kitchen's nice, wonderful. It's just got a nice little spot, and there's, anyway, I'm trying to think. But yeah, it's a nice bedroom. Nice bedroom. Yeah, it's a nice bedroom. It's a nice house. And I think, it'll do fine. So yeah, this is the one we're going to go to. And there's some nice houses on there. Like there's this 3-bedroom, 3-bed, 3-bath house that online looked nice. But And another part of moving is moving all your stuff. My goodness, I had stuff I didn't remember having. I'm like, dang. So I'm packed up. She's in a van behind me. She's packed up. I don't know if y'all can see her. I doubt it. So we're packed to the gills, I'm telling you. Like I said, there's stuff that I didn't realize I had. There's stuff that I knew I had, but I left behind. And I'll come back later and get it because it's not like super important for right now. And then my oldest daughter, she's going to take over my room. So I left her the TV, you know, a desk and all. So, God, man, we've been packing like for the past 2 or 3 days. I'll tell you right now, if I have to move again, I'm getting a U-Haul or a Podge container, something. Whew, dang, it's crazy. So, but anyway, so yeah, I just felt like, you know, maybe I could do a driving with Mr. Grizzly. And I don't know. I guess we're near the end of the video. So, anyway. So, I'm everyone's favorite middle school math teacher. Me, Mr. Grizzly. And always remember, 1 plus 1 is 2. And like the video, subscribe to my channel. Like I said before, I think there's a hype feature. I haven't looked into that yet because I've been busy with all the moving and stuff. If you know what I'm talking about, hype my video. It'd be much appreciated. And until the next ride.